Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. We are talking all about physical versus mental hunger today. Now, before we get started, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you have not, because I don't want you to ever miss a video from me. I've had a lot of people not really understand the difference between physical versus mental hunger, so I hope this video can kind of help you understand the differences so you know how to better listen to your body. Physical hunger tends to be a little bit easier to understand because once you know the signs to look for, you're like, okay, I'm hungry, I gotta eat. Physical hunger tends to happen when it's been quite a bit since you have eaten last. So typically it's between 3 to 4 hours since your previous meal, or when you first wake up in the morning and you haven't eaten in like 8 to 12 hours is typically when we feel physically hungry. Now, that's not to say that you can't feel physically hungry an hour after a meal, but we will get into why that happens in a little bit. Signs of physical hunger are stomach growling, feeling a little dizzy and lightheaded, having that empty feeling in your stomach. I usually have my clients look at where they fall using a hunger fullness scale. Typically, we want to be between a 3 to 4 before a meal and a 6 to 7 after a meal. Does this always happen? No. There is no perfect way of eating, and this scale is really just a guide for you. Some days we eat way past fullness, and some days we may not get to that satisfaction point. So learning what works best for you and your body is key to intuitively eat. Mental hunger is what a lot of people struggle to follow because it usually goes against a lot of those diet culture messages that have been accumulating over the years. So if you are somebody who follows food rules and has eating times, mental hunger may be something that you just quite don't understand yet, and that's okay. Mental hunger looks more like having cravings, thinking about food even after you just ate. You may feel physically full and that you don't want more food, but if you are still thinking about food and you feel like you weren't fully satisfied with what you ate, then that means you have higher mental hunger. For example, let's say you're deciding what you should eat for lunch. You decided you needed to eat a low-calorie, veggie-filled lunch because you have it in your mind that you need to cut back. This is a form of restriction. After this meal, you may feel physically full because of the volume of veggies and protein you just ate, but your mind can't stop thinking about that ice cream pint sitting in your freezer. You tell yourself, not today, or we can save that for later tonight when we have enough calories left to enjoy some. This physical and mental restriction is often what leads people to binge or overeat on food. Anytime you tell yourself, I can't or I shouldn't, this goes against what your body is asking for, thus ignoring your mental hunger. You may not even realize that you are restricting yourself with foods because those things have just become a habit over time, or you may be aware of what you are doing, but you don't know how to find a balance with food that doesn't involve restricting or binging. The truth is, your relationship with food does not have to be this complicated. In order to build that healthy relationship with food and not feeling deprived, you have to learn how to listen to both your physical and your mental hunger. What if I told you that you could find a balance with food that doesn't have you feeling obsessed with food or feeling deprived with food? Ultimately, that is what food freedom is. However, let's address the two main fears you may have about letting go of these food rules. 1. You fear that you're going to never stop eating food. Your mental hunger for things such as candy, chips, sweets, baked goods are probably higher than somebody who has been intuitively eating for a while and does not listen to diet culture. It's actually quite normal to have high mental hunger when you have been dieting for a while, but eventually when you start to trust your body and trust the process, those cravings and mental hunger do decrease, but you have to trust the process. My program helps women identify how foods make them feel physically and mentally, which is a lot harder than it sounds. If you have been restricting and or binging after a while, you may not even understand your hunger and fullness cues, and those cues may not even be reliable. You may even feel out of control with food all the time. After working with so many different types of clients, I can guarantee that food freedom is possible no matter what stage you are in your relationship with food. I'm not saying that everybody is going to work at the same pace, but when you do have a solid plan in place, it can be so much more helpful and less intimidating to approach when you know you're taking steps in the right direction. Now let's address the second fear. You may fear that you're going to gain weight if you let go of restriction and start truly listening to your body. Many of my clients feel that way when we first meet, but the truth is, some people don't gain weight at all, some people lose weight, and some people gain weight. Weight's really not the focus when you are working to improve your relationship with food. Honestly, I feel like weight loss and weight gain and all of it should be put on the back burner so you can truly develop healthier habits that are going to benefit you. And even more, sometimes people do gain weight at first, but it doesn't last forever. You realize that weight is not the focus and that you have so much more in your life that makes your life feel full, and weight doesn't matter anymore. You have to ask yourself, what's more important to you, the number on the scale or your mental health? If you are struggling with your relationship with food and want to gain support from a community of women who are going through similar things, and from myself, go ahead and join the waitlist for my group coaching program down below. I would love to help you overcome the diet mentality and develop a healthy relationship with food again. It's changed so many lives so far, and I hope it can change yours too. I hope this video kind of cleared things up for you guys, and if you do have any questions or concerns about physical versus mental hunger, just drop a comment down below and I'd be happy to answer that.